Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening to whatever time you're tuning in, and welcome to Pen Friends with your host Andrew. And thank you for joining me once again for another video. Okay, so the subject for today's video isn't actually a fountain pen? A fountain pen. Come on, I can do words. Why am I not doing fountain pens today? You may be asking. Well, because for a lot of my artwork, especially more detailed work or a subject which I'm not used to drawing, I fall back to the mercy of using a mechanical pencil, and that is the subject of what we're going to be talking about today, the Rotring 600, which is an absolutely glorious pencil. Precision German design and a very fine writing tool. Okay, so let's start talking about the Rotring 600. Well, it's a pencil. I know, exciting, right? No, there's a few things which actually set this Rotring 600 out from the rest of the crowd. And the first thing, actually, as silly as it might be, is the designation for the softness of the pencil, which you can see in this little window here, which I'll provide some close-ups as well. So yes, we know it's an HB pencil, which is fantastic. And you can change that designation to whichever graphite you have actually in the pencil itself. On the top, we have got the plunger, or the clicker, which will extend the lead out and also detract the lead back in. We've got a sturdy clip along the top. We've also got the designation for the size of the graphite and the series as well. Coming towards the section of the pencil, we've got this beautiful textured grip here, which feels absolutely wonderful when holding it. Your fingers will not slip. So if you've ever had a fountain pen or a metal grip on a pen, having this sort of knurled section here, there is a technical name for it, but the words escape me at the moment. It really is a joy to hold. The fact that we've got a faceted design on here as well means I can just put it down on the surface and it won't roll off the desk. Again, a very nice, welcome design. Okay, so there really isn't anything which I dislike about this pencil. It's a pencil at the end of the day. Unlike fountain pens, which can have issues with hard starting or skipping, a pencil just writes. If you ever found yourself a pencil which didn't write, it's because you've run out. But no, in all seriousness, this really is a beautiful design. That there's faceted patterns down the actual barrel are beautiful. We've got a nicely appointed Rotring logo on the clip, and piece de resistance. If I actually pull out the end plunger, we've got a rubber. Not only is it a rubber, it's a rubber which actually works as well. Unfortunately, you're not going to get much use out of it because you will go through it quite quickly if you are used to having to rub out sketch lines. Okay, so as there isn't really very much to talk about this in terms of it being a pencil, I might do a video in the future talking about some history of German pen and pencil manufacturers, as I think they've got some quite interesting histories. And then I will try and due course do some other countries as well. As I think, the history of the technology around these beautiful writing instruments is actually really interesting. So why don't you join me over in the drawing section, and we'll see what we can draw today. Thank you very much for listening so far, and come on over.
Well, thank you for bearing with me so far. I thought today we'd mix things up. Rather than doing a scene of nature, we would indeed do a picture of an elderly gentleman. Now that elderly gentleman's name is none other than Leonardo da Vinci. So I thought this would be quite an apt and fitting drawing to do today, just to give us a little bit of a break from nature. But again, if you've got any requests or suggestions which you might want to see in the drawing sample in the future, please do leave them in the comments section below, and I will try my best to realise your wishes. So without further ado, please sit back, enjoy the music, and I shall see you in the overview in a minute.
Okay, well, welcome back. This is about the fifth time now that I've recorded this section this morning. Firstly, I got interrupted by a fly just landing on my nose. Then I had aeroplanes flying over because obviously things have now started to ease in the UK. We're now allowed to have 6 people as long as they're socially distancing to meet up, which is great. But with that, I've been disturbed by one thing or another. So hopefully this will be our final take before we say our goodbyes and see you in the next video. Right, so with that in mind, I'd just like to let you know that there are things, a few other things which I wanted to discuss about this beautiful pencil. Is this pencil worth it? To me, yes. If we were to take a monetary value of anything, that will be a tricky question because that really comes down to really your sort of personal invested interest in a product. To put that a little in a bit of perspective, if you were to go to Graf von Faber-Castell's website and you were to pick yourself up a perfect pencil, you would be, I think, looking around about £180 at a starting price for a pencil. Now, for someone who isn't into art or fountain pens or luxury items or anything like that, probably no. That person would not see the actual worth of £180 for a pencil. Why is it worth £180? Well, it's because I believe it's appointed with sterling silver clip. I think that the wood is quite sought after for the actual main section of the barrel of the pencil. But anyway, we're not talking about Graf von Faber-Castell, we're talking about Rotring. Rotring aren't actually a German manufacturer anymore. As far as I am led to believe, they are owned by a conglomerate out of the US. I think they go by the name of Newell. I may be wrong, but that's what I've been led to believe. And the actual pencils are now made in Japan, which isn't a bad thing. But it's it's not quite so much of a German product as perhaps it might have been in the 90s, which is a bit of a shame. It's always nice that when a product is made and it is conceptualized, it is continued in the same origin of the country. It'd be like, I don't know, Pilot going under and then being made in the UK. These things happen, and I don't think there's really many companies left these days where their origins are still in the same country. Maybe a few exceptions. Aurora, I believe, are still going under fully Italian brand, making everything in Italy, which is great. Yada Lead in the UK, I believe, are still manufacturing everything in the UK. But you can look at companies like Waterman, Parker. They started life off, I believe, in the States. They then, I believe, went to Canada, then they came to the UK, and now they are in France. But I think they may be made in China. I may be wrong. Please do correct me if that is incorrect. But anyway, I digress, and I'm waffling, so I do apologise. I'll put a few specifications about the pencil down in the section below. But just to let you know, you can actually pull out the various sections, and you can replace the actual rubber at the end. You can also obviously replace the leads or the graphites, because it's not actually made out of lead anymore. So yeah, for £19.99, which I spent on this pencil on Amazon, it's definitely worth it. I think the recommended retail price is around about £30. You can get this in different colours as well. You can get black, and I think there's a gold version as well. But I've got a funny feeling that might be a limited or a special edition Rotring pencil. Just one final thought: if you are into fountain pens, Rotring did used to actually make fountain pens back in the day. So if that is something which you might want to go and look into getting, they believe they did a Rotring 600 fountain pen, or some designation within the series. So yeah, please do go and check that out. Anyway, I will sign off now. Hopefully, that has got all the information in which you might want. And I will see you in the next video. Till then, I hope that you have a safe and wonderful day, and good evening, good afternoon, or good morning to whatever time, and I shall see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.